Okay, I see we are already live on every possible platform because I see the attendee count on Zoom, and I'm always very happy to see our punctual and very motivated future students coming to Germany. So thank you very much for joining us on Zoom or Facebook, whichever suits you best. It's my pleasure to be here today together with wonderful speakers and talk about a topic, subject, which is not so much related to me because I'm a political scientist, kind of. However, we will talk about biology and chemistry today. But I'm really, really interested in and motivated to listen to all the panelists. And I will also encourage you all to actively participate in Q&A and pose your questions, because not all that every day the speakers or the professors have time to engage directly with all the students. So it's your chance to get the best of the information possible when if you want to apply to one of these programs, which we hope you do. So if you still don't know me, even though I'm really frequent already during the webinars, my name is Nele. I was also international student in Germany, did my master here, and I'm already working in Germany, which is great. And I wish you all the same for the future. So together with me today is Eileen, our great moderator, and Eileen, as always, will be giving you best answers in Q&A section. So engage there and be active. Meanwhile, before we start, I would like to briefly share my screen and show you short insights about MyGermanUniversity. So we have some news. Maybe you have already noticed that besides of bachelor and master programs which are taught in English, we also have some sections for short courses and language courses, which is really great. And you are welcome to use these filters as well while searching for your study program. Maybe your study program even has a short introductory course during summer or winter, so use this opportunity. We will share the links to our study finder once in a chat. And yeah, this you already know. Another thing, how we help international students is while writing some very comprehensive articles. And these articles are important because it's not just a sum of information. It's written by those who went through it. For example, when one was searching for accommodation, what were the tips, tools he or she was using. So our team members are all international students or worked in higher education system in Germany. Some were at the university with scholarship foundations. They are scholarship holders themselves. So it's kind of insider information, which also has some external links, which can be very useful to you. And today during the webinar, Eileen will be sharing lots of important links. So please make sure to watch and check the chat, even though you cannot use it or type in anything there. However, the links which will be shared there are really important. So we encourage you to save them somewhere if you wish. One more thing about articles is that they are usually updated. So for example, the COVID article is very frequently updated when there are news. The other articles, for example, about visa and language requirements, they are also updated. So and translated to different languages, which is nice because if you are comfortable reading in different and other language, so you can also use this option. Our interactive part is webinar, one of which you're attending today, which is subject webinar, a very special webinar when it's not us, team members talking usually, but the guest speakers and particular programs are being presented. So this is once again a unique chance because sometimes we have questions about specific programs, and then we always share the info email of study programs. And today we won't share any info email. We will just direct these questions to program representatives. So yeah, once again, make sure to use this chance. Other webinars you are more familiar, I suppose, because we talk about application strategies, visa, UniAssist. For example, tomorrow Eileen will be talking about visa. So if you are the one who needs visa to come to Germany, make sure to sign up for that as well. As I have mentioned, our team is super international. The startup itself is based in Hamburg, Germany, but we are in we are everywhere in the world. I'm from Georgia, Eileen is from Brazil. We have people from China, Spain, and yeah, from many different countries, which is also nice because, as I have mentioned, we speak different languages, and you can approach us with your questions in multiple languages, and we will try to give you the comprehensive answers. Okay, and right now I will give a short introduction about the subject that we are talking today. And you already see on the screen our speakers. I will introduce them personally in a bit. However, before that, I would like to mention two important databases which you should know. So if you are the one who wants to come to Germany and study biology or chemistry or related subject in Germany in German, and you are brave enough to do so, then you are very welcome to use Hochschulkompass database, which is offered by German Rectors Conference, and they have a list of not most, but all the German programs, some also English programs. So you can see the count on the slide. There are 746 degree programs in general. Out of this number, only 158 are in English. If you are not that brave and don't want to study in German, or maybe you would like to improve your German when you are already in Germany, then for the ones who are searching for English taught programs, you are welcome to use our study finder, which we already showed to you. You can see it in our background and on the slide as well. So here you can find 95 degree programs, and we have even the breakdown of bachelor and master, and another section which is English only, which means that for those programs, German skills are not required at all. What does this mean? This means that sometimes programs, some seminars or courses are taught in English, but there are still some in German. So it's kind of combined. Maybe it will be in the second year if you're applying to master, or some other semester, depending on a study program. So if you want to avoid this or to include this, vice versa, then you have this option, German language, German skills not needed or needed. So you can also filter by this in our study finder, which has great filters. If you are the one who is searching or doesn't really know if he or she wants to study biology, chemistry related subjects, or doesn't know the outlook of universities, usual application admission requirements, language requirements, rankings, and so on, and wants to have this information in one place, then we recommend to use our subject pages. In this case, there are 2 subject pages, and you can see all this information there and decide if you want to apply to this program or not. I have mentioned ranking, and we quite often get questions about rankings. For example, what is the best university to study? I don't know, in this case, biology, for example. We can never tell you because it depends what you want to study. Maybe it's tuition fee very important to you. Maybe location of the university is very important to you. Maybe a program name or so. So it's always up to you. You are the decision maker, and you should decide which program is best. Shortly about universities in Germany, there are roughly saying 2 big groups. One is university, including technical university. The other one is University of Applied Sciences. Here on the left side of the screen, you can see that both of the universities of this type provide programs in biology and chemistry. Why we mentioned this and what's the main difference? There's not that much. Earlier it was about PhD programs, which is not relevant anymore. The main difference is about how they teach or what's the focus of their teaching. In universities, we say it's more research or theory oriented, while for universities of applied sciences, it's more practice or application oriented. And one more thing is that we already mentioned our study finder and many filters. So if you go to check our webpage and choose the option or the subject chemistry and biology, doesn't mean that all the programs are called a master in biology or master in chemistry. So this wording can be different, and you can see some of the examples on a slide. So the filter will do everything for you. You will just have the search results, which I usually share with you in chat or in Q&A, and I will do it today as well. All right. Do we have our first speaker already? No, I don't think so. Therefore, let's make some changes. Yeah, and I would like to invite our, here it's the third, but first speaker, Professor Dr. Julia Rehbein. Thank you very much for joining and thank you for your time. I have on the right side of a slide, you can locate your future university. On this left side, on the left hand of the slide, you can also have the international outlook of the university. So when you come, you definitely know there are some English speakers and you will not feel alone. Professor Doctor, the floor is yours. Thank you again for your time.
All right, thank you very much, Nino, for this very kind introduction. I'm going to share my screen with you as well to have a look at our special master's program that I would like to introduce to you. So screen sharing has started. I just get the videos out of the way so that we have a clear view on the slides. So it's from chemistry. The chemistry department has an elite degree. So it's funded by the elite network of Bavaria. And the specific master course in the chemistry department is called SynCat, joining up the two words of synthesis and catalysis. And this is a highly research-oriented master's degree, so it's preparing you for future research projects that you might want to pursue either in your PhD studies or if you then join industry in the science labs there as well. As you've seen already, it's not only interdisciplinary in terms of the topics of synthesis and catalysis, but it's also interdisciplinary that we have applications involved and also theory, which means computational chemistry. In addition, we have some external research internships with international partners. So this is, I think, constituting a very specific and very important part of this master's curriculum, but I'll show you in a second what this actually means. If you seek further information, we have a website, it's www.syncat.eu, and you also find this information if you screen here this QR code. So what's behind SynCat? First, the facts. The SynCat curriculum is very modular. So it's going over 4 semesters, and the first 2 are covering the ground, so to say. So you will be taught the basics in synthesis, linking, of course, to your knowledge that you already have acquired in bachelor degrees in the field of chemistry or very related fields to that. And besides synthesis, of course, you will receive training in catalysis and techniques. And the two first ones, so synthesis and catalysis, you will also receive lab course trainings, which will be commencing not in communal lab, but actually in research labs. So we'll join certain research groups that you can pick yourself and work there on a project together with PhD and master students. After this basic modules, after the first 2 terms, you will have a module examination, which is oral. This is also something very important to mention. You do not have any written exams in between. This gives you a lot of freedom on the one hand, but also means that you have to be quite disciplinary yourself. Self-discipline here is the key word, to revise those topics yourself, to present them then after 1 year in an oral examination. And after that, you will progress onwards in your third and fourth semesters. Sometimes it's a little bit overlapping with the second as well, in the advanced techniques. And that I've already mentioned, the external research module, which I find truly fantastic. And I'll show you 2 slides on that, because there you have the option of going abroad and learning some new groups, some new cultures, and some new chemistry. And after that, of course, you're ready to go to have your concluding module, which is kind of preparing you for your final step, which will be the master's thesis, which of course in chemistry means that you have a research project on your own, that you will try to solve some problems in there and then write them up, and you see this report. So overall, the grade that you receive, the master thesis is actually having quite a big impact. So it's counting to 40%, as you can see here in the pie chart, 40% to the overall grade. And the other modules, basic synthesis, basic catalysis, and basic techniques, contribute with their grades in these oral exams, the other, each 20% to that. What's also specific next to this modular approach is that we start in both winter and summer terms. So most of the chemistry studies are usually starting for some maybe historic reasons in winter term, but we offer also stuff summer term. The master courses are all completely taught in English by all the colleagues. And you also have some native speakers actually among our colleagues. So you can receive already here while training for chemistry, some good English knowledge. And the oral exams I already mentioned. What I should also tell you is that we learned, of course, in the past that these oral exams are something kind of unusual. So you also can have so-called mock exams in preparation to that. This usually helps you to prepare for this maybe unusual situation to sit with 2 professors and discuss chemistry. So this brings me to other aspects which are special about SynCat, and I highlighted already the external research internship, which is automatically included in your curriculum, which usually lasts for around about 2 months, plus minus 2 weeks, usually the case, right? And here is a map where you can see where all our SynCat students have went so far. So you see it's actually a global project. So if you have identified yourself a group that you really would love to work in, a well-known figure in chemistry that you really want to get to know personally, or you're really interested in a certain country, of course, this is also a valid argument, then you approach us or try to make direct contact, whatever you feel better with, and then we try to make it happen for you. So it's actually a free choice of the university and institute that you want to go to. The good thing is, of course, you know, traveling is expensive. You get some financial funding of around about 2,000 euros by the Elite Network of Bavaria to support you with your efforts. But also you should be aware that for certain countries where you have to pay tuition fees, for instance, this will not cover all your expenses, right? But for most things, you have financial aid in there. And here's just a survey of people who went away, but also the people they have met there. Hugh Davis here, for instance, was hosting quite a few of our students at Emory University in the US, but also Stanford was involved. Very true, so very well-recognized groups. I'm happy to take on our SynCat students for this external stay. And I really would have loved to go there if I would in the position of studying chemistry again. What else is special about SynCat? Well, usually in the master, you either decide to go into organic chemistry or inorganic chemistry or physical chemistry. And with SynCat, it's somewhat different. Of course, you still have the topics in there, but you have inorganic and organic chemistry to equal measures in it, which is highlighted here by the 2 groups that you can see. So these are all my colleagues. from the two houses, so to say, and they are all linked by the common idea of driving synthesis, applications, method development, and catalysis forward. So therefore, we have this special situation that you have two topics as two major topics in your chemistry master classes. And this is flanked, of course. I'm personally a physical organic chemist, so we do quantum mechanical calculations, simulations, computational chemistry. We have spectroscopy, similar to my colleague, Schwind. So you have these spectroscopy, physical chemistry aspects in there as well, of course. What's also special is the fact that besides having a mentor among the professors, you've seen that on the previous slide, who you can approach, of course, around anything that's involved in the topics that are taught, but also how to organize yourself in learning stuff or making connections for your external module. We also learned that this is not for all things maybe the right setup. So therefore, we came up with this buddy program. So you have somebody assigned to you from among your peers. So usually SynCAD students that are already in the second or usually third term of their master studies. So they have survived, so to say, the first round, the first two terms of SynCAD studies, and they are still inside this program, so they will have first-hand information for you guys to how to deal with certain aspects. This can be something university related, but especially if you're from abroad. And in this case, the SynCAD students are constituting themselves of 50% international students. So that we are far away from this 8% that was shown for the total international students of the University of Regensburg. So they have first-hand information also on how to deal with daily life. If you're coming from abroad, things work differently in Bavaria. So this, I think, is a good offer to improve your study experience here at Regensburg. We do also have lots of workshops and excursions. So we'd love to get our new people networking straight away from the start. So if it wouldn't be for Corona at the moment, we would be abroad somewhere else right now. So usually having an excursion for 2 days to make networking, to integrate the new people, to learn where everybody's coming from, and to also have a look at some industrial companies, for instance. So this is on our offer, both social skills workshops and excursion to industrial chemistry, so that you can maybe also find already an idea of what topics you would like to pursue for your future studies or work life, actually. In addition, since communication is key also, and especially I should say in science, is that we have English chemistry courses that will lead you to C1 level in English, and they're actually mandatory for everyone who's not a native English speaker or already holds the C1 level in English. And in addition, for international students, to help you along with daily life, we have German courses for you. You will do this exam for the certificate, but this, of course, does not count into your overall grade. And one of the reasons why I actually have to leave spot on at 5 o'clock is that we have regularly visiting scientists with us, and SynCAD students have the great advantage that they get direct access to our usually international guests here and are allowed to do interviews with them, to chat about science. And this is usually very well renowned, both from our guests, but also from the student side. Last but not least, we do have special lab courses which might deviate from standard chemistry curricula, because we do have this intensive structure determination lab courses, which are usually run in the groups of 2 students with 1 PhD student guiding them to do these practical courses. And we have a very extensive theoretical chemistry unit in that, so that you learn quite a bit about how to simulate your chemistry in the computer, to learn more about the foundations of what's governing selectivity and reactivity issues. Everything, as I mentioned prior to that, is funded by the Elite Network of Bavaria. So if you want to have a look at that, here I have our own webpage, of course. And again, there's a network in itself. So you have meetings there. So you have also software soft skill seminars that you can access as a member of the SynCard Masterclass, because you're part then of the Elite Network of Bavaria. So this opens up even more opportunities for you if you join a specific master course. The question is now, of course, how do I get in, right? So you find every single detail about the online application on our website, and actually the application goes via our website. And we'll end up here at our coordinator, Dr. Anja Stromek-Fader, who will go through your application papers and makes a pre-selection and giving points to that according to a specific scheme. And then the decision is made which steps you have to follow through. So the standard application holds, of course, your degrees and the transcript of your bachelor in chemistry or related field, where you need to have an overall grade better than 2.5, right? We cannot compromise on this grade. This I often get asked, so there's no way around that. And you need to be able to speak in English at the B2 level, or communicate, I should say. For some, this is the first entry step, right? And if you've passed that, you will be sent out a written aptitude test. So this is about checking out your ability of problem solving, because this is what we want to have. In the end, we want to have trained you to be able to solve problems in chemistry, to tackle problems that we are facing at the moment, right? So sustainability, for instance, and so on. So for inorganic and organic questions, you have the choice which one you want to do. Then you will send back your answers and they get evaluated by us. So professors will check about what the answers were. So I can give away so much. These are not standard questions that you could look up in the book, but you will actually need to think about them. And based on that, you either get parsed directly into the accepted field, or if you're on the borderline cases, you will have the opportunity to persuade us, to convince us in an interview. So there we'll check about your motivation, why you would like to come here to Bavaria, to the Upper Palatine, and study with us. But also, importantly, your science background, right? Because we want to make sure that you succeed. But this, of course, means that you will have a sound foundation that we can build on, both in practical aspects, but also theoretical aspects in the field of chemistry. So with that, I gave you a very brief overview of what SynCard is about and what you need to take care of when you want to try to apply for that. And I will be around now the remaining 25-ish minutes to answer questions in the Q&A section. So thank you very much for listening and joining here.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Since you have to leave early, then I noted down two questions which were directed to you. The first one is it possible to apply with already having a master's degree in chemistry? And does it make the chances higher to get into the program?
No. The first answer is yes, so you can do that. We already have some SynCard students, but the evaluation down to the legal regulations that we have, it's written down that we are evaluating based on the bachelor's degree, so we'll have to look at the bachelor's grade. And if you have an excellent master, it won't help.
So the person has to show both bachelor and master degrees.
So yeah, if there's already a master degree, you can't stay silent about that. It wouldn't make any sense, right? But it doesn't enhance your chances, unfortunately.
Okay. And the other question is to all the speakers, but I will ask them later. Maybe you could also, once again, because you mentioned internships, mention about the career opportunities or how the alumni is reporting, how can they find workplaces after the program or...
Yes, so standard-wise, our SynCard students all have proceeded further on with a PhD study. So some of them stay here, some apply internationally somewhere else, right? But also the ones that are applied somewhere else, they usually get accepted or find a place very quickly because they have received a very research-intense training already. So it's very convincing and attractive for other professors or group leaders in general to employ them as researchers.
Yeah. Thank you very much again for your time, especially, and for the presentation. And also, I think you also get thank yous from the ones who were asking questions, so you already answered them. So it's our pleasure to be here today with you. And now I will share my screen once again to present our first/second speaker, Professor Dr. Frank Platte, head of the study program of Master Science Biological Resources. Again, you have the university outlook and the map so that you know where the university is located. And Professor Doctor, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks very much. I was a couple of minutes ago, was obviously in the wrong room. I could see and hear everything, but yeah. So you hear me, you see me?
Yeah, we see you. Thank you very much for your time and for joining.
Yeah, thanks for shifting me now to second. I would just share my screen. I hope that works. And could you still see the presentation?
Not in presenter view yet. Yeah, now it's working.
Now you can see it.
Thank you.
Another hopefully interesting course or program. So yeah, Mrs. Rehbein, your program is really interesting. I thought about maybe start studying again. So it's really interesting. We have a bit different focus with biological resources. So it's a broader view on things. And this one here is a picture of our nice campus. If I'm not mistaken, so it was rated one of the most attractive campus in Germany. It's quite new, very close to the Dutch border. New buildings, new facilities. This is where we are. So in the almost most western part, you can be in Germany. So very close to the Netherlands. We have with 7,500 students. We're a medium-sized university. We have 2 campuses and 50% or so international students. Also, not too few international lecturers. Actually, we have teachers from all over the world, and also the scientific staff. I'm doing the program together with my colleague Marcel Friedrich. I'm a chemical engineer, and Professor Friedrich has innovation management as a background. And what I would like to show you, okay, here a few words about myself, so probably not too important at this stage. I started studying chemical engineering, also received a PhD in this field, and I entered the Faculty of Life Sciences some 6.5 years ago, and now my contribution is to bring engineering aspects to these questions of, let's say, transforming the economy into circular and bio-based economy. And one of the things we do, it's not written in the curriculum, but we do this in a regular and quite extensive manner. So we do excursions. So this is the last excursion we could do just a couple of months before Corona showed up. So we went to Berlin. There was a demonstration about the climate change, and here you see actually a very international selection of the students that joined, and we could, in this time in Berlin, we had really a nice program, talking to politicians, to non-governmental organizations. So we went to research institutes and deepening the aspect. What is it all about? Pictures say more than, let's say, 1,000 words. And the basic idea of our course is that students should start looking at the nature with a different point of view. So you see here surely pictures from the nature, and you might think this is just a forest, just a fisherman or a potato coming out of the soil, but We look on these parts of the ecosystem in a different way. It's always the question, how can we make use of nature in a sustainable way, exploit the resources, and transform from an oil-based or fossil fuel-based economy to a bio-based. The motivation is straightforward. I don't want to bore you here with numbers, but these curves tell us that we have more and more humans on the planet. The wealth and income is also rising, and so people ask for higher standard of living, from a personal point of view. But of course, there's probably, even we exceeded the threshold for sustainable way of fulfilling all these wishes. So if more and more people want to travel, air travel, the food is also becoming more, having a stronger impact. More and more people in the world eat meat, for example. In Western style countries, you see a trend to vegan and less meat, but worldwide this is not true. And also there's a stress on changing climate on the grounds, on the fields. So we see this every now and then, that organisms have to adapt, systems have to adapt, and this is another motivation. On the other hand, oil, which is still one of the main drivers of energy, have an impact on the climate, due to direct CO2 emissions. And we should always keep in mind we are burning stuff that was in the ground for millions of years. So we somehow awake the past and the history, and have to deal with the consequences. What can we do? Some people, rich people, think about going to Mars, finding new a second planet. But we don't believe that there's a planet B at the moment. So we should do the following. And here are a few mission statements that we try to teach. So we should go back. We should probably revive and vitalize the traditional way of doing economy. There was an era in the world before oil, gas, and coal was used, and we want to teach this on a technically high level. So we have here a couple of F's: food, feed, fiber, fuel, fine chemicals based on biological resources. So, for example, from the ecosystem, forest, soil, animals. We have the aquatic system, and our students should, and this you will see in a moment, so they should learn about where do we find the resources. They should learn about how do we process the resources, and always they should answer themselves the question, is it economically feasible? Are the products competitive? And if not, what could we do about it? This picture shows a few possibilities. So from these trees here, we could do fibers. There's a Bavarian car manufacturer already working in this field. So substitute traditional oil-based fibers by natural ones. You could, from, for example, these crustaceans here, you could, which is a very vast source of biopolymers. We could try to make use of these biopolymers. We could make fuels out of them, cutlery, and things like this. So, and the interesting story about our course is, since the students are so international, we bring not only our knowledge to the world, we also get ideas from these countries. So the students actively report about the situation in their country, and very often on in a seminar style, we discuss then the possibilities worldwide, because we can't solve this worldwide problem in Germany and only from Germany. Here's what I was just saying. So we teach the students the basic courses about plants, animals, soil, and marine. So these are the resources, and then we have the analysis and processing. I come into play when it gets into engineering and simulation, but also we have innovation and economy, and at the end we have, of course, the market. I'm looking on the watch. I've prepared more slides than I can squeeze in this short time. So we'll skip this one, skip this one. I will skip this one, and maybe two slides I would like to drag your attention to. This is a picture actually about the modules we are teaching. We try to depict this on an ecosystem. So we have all the modules for the processing, the reuse, the primary production, and bringing it to the market. This is it in a nutshell. Last but not least, I would like to drag your attention to one special factor we could bring in. It was a bit sad because we just finished this deal 1 year before the Corona came up. We offer a double degree with the University of Cartagena in South Spain, and by this cooperation, you are eligible to receive 2 master degrees, one at our university and one at the university in Cartagena. Okay, stop here. Let me just see. How could I stop sharing? Okay, you still hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, and thank you very much for the interesting presentation. We were seeing the slide about application requirements, which was good, because I think students also, even though they already have the access links to the course description, it was nice to have them on the slide as well. So thank you very much for your time. And you already skipped this one question about career opportunities because of the time limit, but I know you also have to leave. Maybe you can, like, briefly in 2 words tell us before we give the floor to other speakers, because I don't want
the main question is about career options, or what was it?
Yeah, it was about the career opportunities. And
I mean, let's say it's quite unusual. Not too low percentage actually do a PhD in our university, and we have probably 10-15% of our students stay with us and do a PhD later on. Otherwise, it's quite broad. So the students I know personally, and so sometimes they go to big manufacturers as an in-house consultant, I would say. Yeah, so bringing these new concepts to classical chemical companies, for example. We have students who started in recycling, in the recycling economy. We have students who worked for governmental organizations. So it's quite a broad, opportunity for future career. Yeah, if this answers the question.
Yeah, I think so.
Everything is possible.
Thank you. There are lots of opportunities. Students just need to be motivated and follow their desires and work hard for that. Thank you again very, very much. We apologize for the technical inconvenience.
No, partly I was responsible. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. And now we have our third special guest, Nele Milsch, a program representative from University of Göttingen. Again, you have a nice map of the university, of your future university, and which is not far from Bremen, where I'm based right now. And on the left side of the slide, you also have the university international outlook. So feel free to apply. And Ms. Milsch, the floor is yours. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for the introduction. And now I will talk about our master's program. But before I want to start, my name is Nele Milsch, and I'm the academic advisor and consulting to Dean of Studies of the Faculty of Chemistry at Georg August University Göttingen. And with me today is Maike Mücke, a master's student. And after my short introduction about our program, Maike will tell you about her study, and I think she will be able to give you great insight into our studies. So, Master of Science, studying at our faculty. The faculty is located in the north of the University city of Göttingen in neighborhood physics, the geoscience, hopefully, oh, sorry. Here, they are the geoscience, the computer science, and here the biology with a biochemical and biotechnological focus. And in addition to the North Campus, there's also the Central Campus, which is located in the heart of Göttingen. The way to the Central Campus is short, about 50 minutes by bike or about 8 minutes by bus. And this way, it's easily possible to enrich your studies by taking classes like economics, language courses, and so on at the Central Campus. Göttingen is therefore a wonderful university city. The city has about 120,000 inhabitants, and 20% of which are students. Thus, the cityscape is significantly shaped by the student. So, but now let's talk about the study program. The Master of Science lasts a total of 4 semesters and requires an acquisition of 120 credits. To be accepted into the program, an application must be submitted to us directly. So I will go into the requirements in more details in a moment. But if you complete a master's degree with us, this is often a key to graduate with a PhD. Alternatively, you can think about joining the industry. So overall, the master's degree is divided into 3 main sections. And the first section is the specialization with 78 credits. And here, modules from a range of 5 topics must be taken. The methods, special inorganic, organic, and physical chemistry, as well as applied chemistry. 48 credits out of these 78 credits can be selected individually from a large number of courses. And here, or modules from a related disciplines such as physics, computer science, and so on can also be taken. And this is where you can see the advantage to having these faculties together. The second section is a professionalization. And in this area, credits can be selected from a wide variety of fields. And it's possible to elect modules from business, administration, languages, and so on. And here too, the proximity to the Central Campus comes in handy. And last but not least, your own research work. The master's thesis takes up a quarter of the credit in the program. And you get a very good deep insight into the research. Overall, we offer you the opportunity to graduate exclusive in German, English, or even a mix of the 2 languages. This also means that some courses are only held in 1 language exclusively, but they provide some courses where the language change every semester. So now, I would like to give a brief outlook on our research activities. As examples, I would like to highlight the following 4 topics: the functional biomolecular chemistry, sustainable synthetic chemistry, analytic methods for molecular interaction, and theoretical or computational chemistry. But I don't want to, yeah, you can read it on our website more about this 4 fields. So I want to move on to the master's admission procedure. Please submit, and this is very important, your application directly to the faculty. There are 2 important deadlines, July 15th to start in October for the winter semester, or January 15th to start in April for the summer semester. For a successful application, you need a bachelor's degree in chemistry or in a chemistry-related subject, which has 6 semesters and at least 180 credits. Out of these 180 credits, 126 credits have to be located in the disciplines of chemistry, physics, mathematics, or biochemistry. Very important, the bachelor thesis it's not taken into account. But out of these 126 credits, 63 credits must be coming from chemistry itself. Furthermore, you need a language certificate. You need either German language skills on a DSH2 level or English language skills on a C1 level. However, this proof must only be submitted if the bachelor's degree was not completed in one of the languages. Overall, you can take courses in both German and English during your studies if you wish. You only need to fulfill one language requirement. If you didn't complete a bachelor's degree so far, then it is sufficient to present 150 credits at the time of application. In this case, you still have to prove your degree. So now the question, why should you study chemistry? Because you would like to study chemistry with a broad range of optional modules in the master's program. Here you can set the focus according to your own interest. Because you want to participate in cutting-edge research as a basis for subsequent doctorate studies or for starting a career in the chemical pharmaceutical industry. Because you want to take benefit of the partnerships of our faculty with industry, the Max Planck Institute or Laser Laboratory Göttingen, thus gain experience in different fields. Because you like the familiar atmosphere at our faculty and you want to have a supervision close to the work. And I think about this point, Maike can give you more impression about it. So Maike, I want to hand over to you. It is your stage.
All right, thank you so much, Nele. So good afternoon from me as well. Well, I'm Maike. As Nele said, I'm a master's student at our faculty. I'm 23 years old and I'm originally from Berlin. So moving to Göttingen for my bachelor's was a big change for me. However, I haven't been unhappy with that change because really, even though Göttingen is compared to Berlin very small, there's always a lot going on. And as we are a student city, there's also a lot of international students within the whole city. Some friends of mine that don't speak German very well, they actually told me that if they didn't speak any German, they still wouldn't have any problem surviving in Göttingen, which I think says a lot about our city. So as already said, I did my bachelor's in Göttingen and I did my bachelor theory in the theoretical chemistry on machine learning in chemistry. This is quite kind of a niche topic, and I discovered that I was very interested in computer science as well. So after my bachelor, I was kind of presented with the big question of where to go from this. And I actually decided to stay in Göttingen. And I would just like to talk to you about why I decided to stay in Göttingen. So first of all, for me, it was the free choice of how I specialize my studies. So whereas a lot of other master programs have kind of set structures on what to specialize, in Göttingen, you are completely free on what to do. And there really is not one lecture that is obligatory to everyone. So you are so free to set your own focus on what you do. And if you are in a niche like me, this is perfect. But also if you have kind of very divided interests and might like on one hand spectroscopy, on the other hand, but really like organic synthesis, you are super free to do this here as well. Secondly, I really like the large amount of research groups that we have at our faculty. So we have our faculty of chemistry, and then in Göttingen, we're so lucky to also have the laser lab, Max Planck Institute on biophysical chemistry. And lastly, there's also corporations from the biochemistry going on with the hospital. And so I think for almost everyone, there is something that they will like and that they can find. And what is so nice is that it's very easy and almost informal to get a placement for a research internship. And in our master, it is very much encouraged to gain practical skills while working in the lab of a professor or research group. And this can be arranged very short notice. And even for people moving to Göttingen for their masters, this is very easy. So you don't need to have lived here for 3 years and know some people to get a placement. Thirdly, what also already Nele mentioned is that we have the possibility to take courses from other STEM faculties. So anything ranging from math or biology to physics, we are allowed to take. For me, this enabled me to focus more on machine learning and computer science. But I know also, for example, a lot of people are taking courses on enzyme catalysis or also materials that are renewable or focusing on solar power. So especially for master students that don't want to take a lot of German lectures, this obviously broadens the spectrum of just available lectures and also the topics that we have available and that you can focus on. Yeah, and lastly, what also really convinced me to stay was, as Nele mentioned, the familiar atmosphere. So since we're our own faculty, we kind of all know each other and it's very easy to get into. This also means, for example, our master lectures are quite small. There's about 20 to 30 lectures, people maximum in a lecture. So this means in every lecture, you have very, very close contact with the professors. Even during Corona, there was never a problem to reach a professor and to talk to them. So this is very great for our education. It also means that when there's, for example, scheduling conflict or just a conflict with anything happening in the lecture, it's very easy to address these conflicts either directly to the professors or to the PhD students, and then mostly a solution will be found. And if there are any organizatory questions, it's very easy to address the Office of the Dean of Studies, and you will get an email within a day or two. So we are all very happy here. And this is what I really, really like. So even though coming to Germany is a very bureaucratic process, here you are very much helped to kind of finish this. So yeah, I would say in general, Göttingen always gave me the feeling that everybody wants you to succeed and is very much enabling you to succeed. So yes, and I would be very happy to see some of you within the next 3 semesters if you do decide to come to Göttingen.
Thank you very, very much. I think it's always really precious to have the insider student information or shared experience and feelings. So I think this was very important part of today's presentation. Thank you very much for your time. And Nele, thank you also for answering questions in Q&A, much appreciated, but I'm still noting down some of them from Facebook, and we will have a short round in a bit. And right now, last but not least, let me give the floor to our fourth speaker from Freie Universität Berlin. I think it's always like we have lots of questions. Can we go to study how can we go and study in Berlin? So here's your chance. Apply to a study program here. We have Björn Kleier from Freie Universität Berlin, representative of a program of masters in chemistry. I have a map just in case, but I'm sure everyone knows where Berlin is, and of course the international outlooks of the university. So the floor is yours. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's have a look. Okay. I study chemistry at the Freie Universität Berlin. Yes, the chemistry program at the Freie Universität Berlin is characterized by a relatively large number of elective options. The program is bilingual, so it means it can be studied in both German and English. And in Berlin, besides nightlife, the academic environment is significant. There are 4 universities nearby, several Max Planck and Leibniz institutes. There are large research institutions such as the Federal Institute for Materials Research and Testing, and so on. And you can, in principle, also do external research internships, research work at these institutes, and use this scientific environment. That's also a decisive point in favor for studying chemistry at the Freie Universität Berlin. And yes, studies start in winter term and in summer semester also. Then for students, the counseling opportunities are very good as far as I can tell. The students in the higher semesters hold information events and can always be reached through the student council. Also, the work of the examination board should be emphasized. Professors, staff, students are in it, and they are always available to discuss problems. They give advice, and also they look for solutions. Then there's also the mentoring program at our university. It's for international master students. And if you want, you will have regular meetings with your mentor and your peers. The mentors offer help with German websites and other language or other language related issues, or yes, they do library tours, they organize some events, and you just have a coffee or tea with them and talking about studying at university. So you will get help here. The language of our module is the language is not uniform. In core elective modules, the language will be English if there's at least one foreign student present. But some elective modules may be in German. If in the labs, you will hear many languages, but English is always okay. So maybe that you learn a little bit German during the study, so at the end you are capable also to participate in a German lecture. And yes, yeah, in the labs it is both German, English, and it's also languages from other countries like China, Russia, Spain, or Italy. They are talking their native language, and yes, you get a range. The language of the master thesis is English or German. Yes, then for the design of the program, so yes, in the core elective studies, you will get an overview of modern topics in inorganic, organic, and physical chemistry. So it's each 10 credits. And furthermore, a module presentation skills is included here in the crossover part. So then it's up to you if you prefer to keep a more expanded view or concentration on a subject of your choice. We allow a maximum of 40 credits in one single subject. So like inorganic chemistry or organic chemistry or physical chemistry, some of these. If you do by implication the master thesis in the same subject, so then you would have more than one half, so 70 credits in one single subject. So in the specialization area here, and in the elective studies, you might either also prefer only classical chemistry modules, but you may also choose modules, for example, in analytical chemistry, biochemistry, or environmental chemistry. And in the elective studies, you may even choose non-chemistry modules, for example, other natural sciences, language courses, informatics, so everything you like. The practical training here in the research project area. Yes, you do by your own choice up to 30 credits in practical courses, at minimum 20. This means that you do either more research projects and less modules in the area of concentration, or vice versa. Research projects are performed in the academic working groups of our institute with permission of the examining board, also in other groups outside of our institute. So in an experimental working group, you will stay in the lab for several weeks. In the fields of physical chemistry, you will maybe work more or even exclusively at a computer. In the academic working groups, you will have a direct access to the state of the art of science in the specific field the group is working in. field Scott and the research project are exercised in the master thesis, which takes then 6 months and has 30 credits at the end. And at the end of your study, you will have an overall knowledge about modern chemical problems and the state-of-the-art knowledge about some special aspects. Modules in our master program are independent and may be therefore performed in any order. So yes, here will show these are our core elective modules. It's coordination chemistry, radiochemistry, modern methods of structure determination, or organometallics in the inorganic field. In the organic chemistry field, you have stereo selective synthesis, physical organic chemistry, the advanced synthesis methods, and advanced bioorganic chemistry. And in physical and theoretical chemistry, we have the modern methods of spectroscopy, statistical thermodynamics, and quantum chemistry, solids and interfaces. And this year in the crossover field, you go to the working groups and hear their lab talks, and these are scientific lectures and presentations. And at the end, you also do or give a presentation there. So this is for this. You could also do teaching in chemistry, which means you will do something like a tutor, and you are teaching other students from the bachelor program. So this, you could exchange it. So you could do scientific lectures or teaching chemistry for both. So this is the standard degree program table for our master's program that we're doing in the first semester, second semester, third and fourth semester. And here you do the compulsory elective modules in inorganic chemistry, something from organic and physical chemistry, and maybe you start with a research project. And you can do some elective module, maybe German as a foreign language. And then in the second term, you're also doing some inorganic, organic, physical chemistry. Maybe you start with a new research project. You could do it even in the semester breaks. Some specialization modules and the elective module. And at the end, in the fourth semester, you will do your master's thesis. Yeah. The entry requirements for our master's program is that a bachelor degree in chemistry is needed. So there's no biochemistry, no pharmacy, no chemistry with anything else, or something which has more than 30 credits in subject other than chemistry, maybe politics or something like this. So it's just chemistry. And then you have to do it via UniAssist, and then we get your enrollment maybe, and then we check if your bachelor's program is equivalent to ours, and then everything is fine. What you need for the language, yes, I told you, I think a proof of sufficient German or English skills needed, and then you do it with UniAssist. Yeah, thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. And yeah, as I mentioned from the beginning, each program is really unique. And today I listened to 4 very interesting, and even if the subject or the field is the same, or their programs are really different, as you saw, the application requirements and admission requirements are very different. And for those who were asking for some questions about the specific program requirements, all the links are shared in chat by Eileen. Thank you for that. If you have more questions, you can always go to course web pages. It's also shared, or you can check them through our study finder as well. All right, the 2 speakers who are still with us, thank you very much for your time. I have two questions. One is from Zoom, another one from Facebook. So the Zoom question is, many of you have mentioned, or all the speakers were mentioning, the importance of credit points that they have during the bachelor's degree. And as we know, in Germany, usually if you want to apply to a master's, you need 180 or 240 credit points. If this happens that the credit points are less than 180, however, because of the degree structure, maybe some students from the US, if I'm not mistaken, have this 2.5 years or 3 years programs. Is it possible to still apply? And if no, then will the work experience somehow compensate the mislacking credit points? If the question is too specific, we can also share the info email so that attendees maybe can ask this to program some other representatives. So it's up to you if you'd like to take this question, any of you.
So we need the 6 semesters and the 180 credits at scope, but this is what I mean. When you get, or when you apply it, then 150 credits, it is enough. But then when you stay at the university, we have to, or yeah, you have to approve the 180 credits. This is not a thing that we can change, or yeah, this is what we need.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so usually it's 180, as I know, and in exceptional cases, feel free to contact, yeah, for example, Freie Universität Berlin. You can also like contact the info email that is also shared in a chat. Madame Nele, we have a person referring to you like this. The question is, I don't have any internship. Will it impact my application?
Oh, the internship about to get into our study program. No, this is not what we need for the master's program. This is what I want to say. It's you can do an internship in our master's program, and this is when you want to go to a manufacturing company. Then I want to say, yeah, do it, please. And maybe Maike can a little bit talk a little bit about her internship. But I think this is what we say. You can do it in your study, and you don't have to prove it before you stay in our program.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Kleier, would you like to add anything about the importance of work experience or internship when applying to the program? Of course, it's always nice to have some, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will guarantee your place, if I'm correct.
I think so, you need to have some. So our bachelor's program it has many internships. So there's many lab courses in there. So if you don't have a bachelor's degree or did a bachelor's study program with only theoretical studies, so maybe it is not equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you meant, you mean the laboratory course more, or an internship?
It
So
was just mentioning internship, so I think just maybe extracurricular activities. Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, I know internship, so it's maybe you did it afterwards. Yes, you could credit it at the end. So it's not for the application, I think, but I would say you could credit it for a research practical course or something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Herr Kleier. So practical courses, they are very important to get a very good, that you can very good start with the masters. And I want to say you need laboratory practice. In our program, you can do a little bit more theoretically, but often you have to stay in the lab because, yeah, I think this is very important to get into the research group. So I'm with Herrn Kleier. So this is an important skill that you have to, what you have to learn about what you have to learn in your bachelor's. But sometimes when you're a little bit struggle and you didn't know if your competencies are enough, then you can write an email and ask, is it enough to stay in a laboratory course? Or maybe in this, what we do sometimes that we do that the students can do courses from the bachelors to learn more laboratory practice so that they can do advanced courses in the practical field. So yeah.
Thank you very much for elaborating on that. And for today, maybe the last question is actually a kind of positive question. Some of the students already assume they successfully applied to you, and when should they expect their admission letters? How long should they wait for it? Because maybe some of them are waiting for also applying for visa, and they are worried if they will have enough time to get all the documents. I know, for example, if you apply for UniAssist, it will be more time consuming because first they have to check the documents. But let's finish today's webinar positively. If the admission is positive and they got to come to Germany at one of your universities, yeah, what's usually or roughly the waiting time?
So I should start. I can do. Yeah, when you maybe we get the applicant, or the deadline was the 15th of January, maybe 2022, and then you have to wait 4 with 6 weeks. Then you get feedback if your application was successful or even not, or maybe you get a letter where you have to do something more to get an immatriculation, so that your process will be successful.
Yeah, 6 weeks is not so long, such a long waiting time. I waited 4 months for my answer.
Oh, this is crazy.
Mr. Kleier, do you want to? Oh, okay.
I don't know exactly, but it's from our info service, so it's the matriculation office. They are sending out those things. I think the deadlines for the winter term is in May. So, and for the summer term, it is 15th of August. And then with now with all the Corona limitations and COVID restrictions, it took, I know it was hard work for the office. And yes, it went beginning of October. I think they were matriculated, and they got the letter, I believe, some weeks before. So it's,
yeah, we always warn students that because of COVID, some of the application deadlines, some of the application responses were a bit late, but yeah, sometimes you get the answer in 6 weeks, sometimes in 4 months. I did it with even without COVID. I had to wait 4 months, so no worries. These things happen. Thank you very much once again for being here, for your time, for participating in webinar, in Q&A. If you, I hope that our attendees also enjoyed the webinar the same way, because I was seeing many of them saying thank you. And it would be nice if these thanks also are expressed in rating. Eileen will share some direct links for rating on Facebook or Google, so we will much appreciate your feedback there. If you'd like to have some specific subject webinar, for example, I was seeing many things about bioengineering today, chemical engineering, so you are free to note out that there. Anyways, if you still have some open questions today, or maybe after today's webinar you got some, maybe tomorrow you come up with some questions regarding the programs, feel free to email us and we will direct your questions to respective program representatives. We will share them and then get back to you with the answers. You see our email on the slide, and you can also reach us via social media, via Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. So I wish everyone a nice time of the day, depending where in the world you are. And if no one wants to add anything, then I would like to ask Eileen to conclude our today's webinar with this positive information about the admission letters.
So thank you, Nino and Aline, for this session.
Thank you.
Thank you.